Hello everyone and welcome to another high-low game of Age of Empires. Today all good things must come to an end as both the Shen Cup and the weekend draw to a close. But we can't be too disappointed, too upset, because we get to sit down to watch Sebastian playing as the Incas take on Mr. Yo playing as the Bulgarians in blue. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings and try to get their butts up to Castle Age, because we are in Empire Wars mode today. Not a bad time for us to take a look at the Civ matchup and then take a look at this gorgeous map that we find ourselves on, a big old giant pimple, and we'll see exactly what we're working with today as the players with this kind of short rush distance are already pushing into one another. Now the Incas in yellow by Sebastian, the quintessential counter civilization. If your opponent goes cavalry, well, you can counter them with your long spear unique unit, the Kamayuk. If your opponent goes infantry, counter them with your other unique unit, the Slinger. And if your opponent goes archers, well, counter them with your skirmishers, which not only get all archery range, blacksmith, and university upgrades, but can also be upgraded to get no minimum range whatsoever. And speaking of minimum range, all up in the grill of that villager, it looks like Mr. Yo gets the first kill, although immediately avenged is the fallen villager as he loses his own militia line unit. Now, to add longevity to your armor, no, the Incas don't pop Viagra. What they do is upgrade their Eagle Warriors, Kamayuks, and Slingers to get both extra melee and pierce armor. Now, economically, Incan buildings cost less stone. Their houses support 10 population instead of the usual 5, which does free up a little bit of wood. And they do start the game with a free, delicious llama, while their military units cost less and less food as the game goes on. This is why I love Empire Wars. We are already 3 whole minutes into the game and 5 kills in. Looks like a potentially 6th or 7th. Mr. Yo's overstayed his welcome a little bit, and as he overstays his welcome, not a bad time for us to take a look at the Bulgarians, a cost-cutting civilization. Their militia line units upgrade free of charge. Their blacksmith and siege workshop techs cost less food. Their blacksmiths work almost twice as fast as normal, and their town centers cost less stone, which is great because they can spend their saved stone on their unique structure, the Krepost. How much HP is left on this man-at-arms? Not that much, as Mr. Yo now begins pushing in the front with a tower, even though he is housed at the moment. Now, the Krepost, as I just mentioned, is basically a mini castle that can be used to train the unique unit of the Bulgarians, the Konik, a powerful 2-for-1 cavalry unit that turns into an infantry unit when it dies. Now, if you want to make your Koniks even more powerful, the Bulgarians can actually upgrade all of their cavalry, turning them Japanese by upgrading them to attack 33% faster. And if you want to support your Koniks with some infantry on the battlefield, well, the Bulgarians can toughen up their two-handed swordsmen by giving them an extra 5 whole melee armor, which I believe makes them cap out at a +9 melee armor, which is redonkulous. Or rather, total of a 9, not +9. I guess it would be +8. Let's take a look at the map that we're on as Mr. Yo continues to press into here. Kill count now 4-3. Mr. Yo has the only villager kill in the game. Bodies lying literally everywhere. And we find ourselves on a map that I have not casted yet called Hollow Woodlands. It's very easy to see why it's called Hollow Woodlands. The inner wood lines are pretty sparse, even though one thing on my bucket list in real life is to see a baobab tree, because they are pretty damn cool. Archery range falls in its place. Mr. Yo builds a tower, while a counter tower already goes up for our Inca. And so the map, let's take a look at the resources. Looks like just a little bit more than your standard Arabia. About 9,500 gold, about 30,000, sorry, 9,500 stone, 30,000 gold. A lot of trees, but if you look at the mini map, you'll notice the trees are all on the outer rim, as are the berries. So giving me vibes of shrublands is this map. A civ like the Franks would do quite well with all of these berries, and the food sources are quite high, 16,000, 17,000 food available for the taking. And in the center, very hard to make sense of whether or not you need to wall this off. Sebastian agrees that you need to wall it off. Mr. Yo agrees that, hey, I'm going to be putting on the aggression, so absolutely no need to wall this off. And then the last thing I'll point out is that the inner island, the inner pimple, the boil, the crater, whatever you want to call this, as our Inca hits Castle Age, you can traverse this with ships, which means demolition ships, potentially. We'll see whether or not any of those pop out. The Incas, I believe, do not get heavy demo ships, and the Bulgarians, I think, also don't get heavy demo ships. I think they're quite similar in that one respect. Mysterio is just destroying building after building after building. He's got 3 towers now up. Primary gold has been lamed. Sebastian just does pivot to the gold here to the right. It looks like everyone starts with the usual 3 patches of gold like in Arabia, but man oh man, are these patches a little bit thicker, a little bit juicier, a little bit more rich. So they've discovered a good vein of gold here, and we'll see whether or not Sebastian runs away from 3 skirmishers. They are definitely going to be annoying. They're not going to kill these villagers, but they are going to make the fight or flight mechanic kick in, and with villagers there is no fight. It is only flight. By the way, this is a massive looking tree, this baobab tree. It is just like physically massive. It's the size of like 4 or 5 villagers, whereas your average tree is very much not. Sebastian deletes his own palisade, or whatever the hell that was, and then brings his own skirmishers in. Does outnumber Mysterio's skirmisher count, replaces a stone wall in the forward position, and now it looks like these villagers are on the warpath. They do not want to contend rather with another tower, so they are in fact contesting the tower to the north. Mysterio not getting too much done here in the south. He's killed 4 villagers on the whole. After that initial kill, he got 3 more. I'm not sure any of them are here though. Yeah, 1 villager kill. Must be these villagers that are running around off campus. Maybe the skirmishers got a kill. Actually, no, my apologies. I've got all of the men-at-arms highlighted. So cool new feature of Capture Age, where you can actually see the dead units and see what villager kill count, what total kill count they have. It looks like a few more villagers added to the kill. And now slingers, the kill count rather. I do speak English, I promise. Slingers are out. They are an absolute underrated, criminally underrated, bonkers unit is the slinger. I mean, if you want something in Castle Age to counter infantry that comes with the same attack bonus as an Imperial Age hand cannoneer, meaning 10, look no further than the slinger. 10 attack bonus against infantry in Castle Age. No need for chemistry, no need for a university. Just plop down in archery range, as Sebastian has here in the rear position after his forward one fell. And Bob's your uncle. Start pumping out slingers. Obviously, their main attack is not as strong as a hand cannoneer, but it's not really their main attack that matters, is it? It's that plus 10 attack bonus. Incan Castle going up as our Inca expands to the rear. Mysterio, has he expanded to the rear? No, just with a pair of mills. And it looks like a single solitary eagle tries to make his way in here. It looks like he has gotten absolutely no kills. Dies full of regrets. And that's all she wrote. 1 castle should be able to... I love the location of this castle. 1, 2, 3 towers are now completely stopped. Completely lamed. Mysterio's bringing forward infrastructure, meaning creposts. They are mini castles. They do cost 350 stone. A little bit more powerful than the donjons that don't cost that much stone. Although, quite similar to the donjon, in fact. Although I don't think the donjon gives you 20 population space. I believe the crepos does. And it does fire arrows when ungarrisoned. Which I think the donjon... I think you have to get to Castle Age, I guess, with the donjon to get that feature. It doesn't really work in Feudal Age. Although I guess the crepos you can't build in Feudal Age. A lot of pluses and minuses. As T90 likes to say, it all depends. Now, slingers against knights, not exactly a fair fight. And Mysterio's just chasing into here, into a town center. Is he sacrificing these swordsmen just so that the knights can close on the rest of this army? They are bipedal, which means they're going to hide inside the town center, which means these knights are in some trouble. And all of the infantry of our Bulgarian is now gone. Will the random number generator work for Sebastian? It does not for now. But if he stops to smell the roses, it might. House will go down. Barracks will go down. These 2 additional structures are nice and safe. And Mysterio expands to the rear. He has seen Sebastian's expansion and says, you know what? If you're going to do it, I might as well do it. No sense in only one of us having an extra town center. Villager counts basically identical. 57 to 55. Army count, Sebastian's a little bit higher, but his army is on the whole, except for those 3 monks, which, as we just saw, can always teef your army, is the weaker army. A couple of basic skirmishers, a few slingers, which again on a base attack of a 4 are not going to do too much to scare away this cavalry force out of our Bulgarian. One amazing thing about the Bulgarian hussars, if we're lucky enough to get to see them, or I guess the Bulgarian cavalry on the whole, because of stirrups, the upgrade that makes their cavalry Japanese by attacking 33% faster, their nightline units, their scout line units are absolutely ridiculous when it comes to their attack speed. They have hussars and light cavalry units that attack as fast as a Mangudai. Stirrups, by the way, does not apply to the dismounted Conic. I think somebody once asked me and I looked it up. And speaking of Conics, are we going to see any Conics? Maybe not. If you do go Conics, you need stirrups because Conics are the slowest attacking melee cavalry unit in the game. Looks like a light cavalry unit here got converted. So our Incan player is getting a decent amount of conversions, laming his economy significantly to pull how many? 28 villagers, maybe even more after the knight's kill count gets factored in, and ultimately does get that castle up. And now all of a sudden Mr. Yo's army, which looked like it was about to slaughter the Incas, kind of looks weak here and now has to get the hell out. Loses a pair of knights. I thought it was going to be a little bit worse here for Mr. Yo, but no, managed to save. But our Inca is secure to the bottom flank. He is now secure to the top flank. Mr. Yo is not leaving. Plopping down a market. Did he not have a market at home? I guess not. What he does have is a third town center going up. Our Incan, as we see on the minimap, already has a third town center, using some of these converted light cavalry units to not only get some scouting, maybe an attempted villager kill or two, but Mr. Yo has already killed 18 villagers to 2. So on the whole, more military kills for our Inca, more civilian kills for our Bulgarian, and here he is, the longest shaft in the game, the Kamayuk. Decent attack bonus against all mounted units. Camel, 6, cavalry, 8, war elf, and 20. He is holding the line here in this one little narrow choke point, I want to say, except that there's plenty more spaces where these knights can go get their box turtle on. Kamayuk on the high ground with attack bonus versus a knight. Who dies here? Look at the HP. Oh, the Kamayuk just barely gets beaten out by the knight. Another castle. I mean, if if Sebastian drops a castle for every single Krepos that Mr. Yo plops down, he's gonna run out of stone in the next 3 seconds. Although he has secured this extra 7 patches of stone. This is literally almost 4 castles worth of stone in one little patch. And sometimes these new Empire Wars maps are just absolutely bonkers when it comes to resource amount. And looks like Mr. Yo is a little bit confused, dazed, and stunned here. What is he going to do? He is going cavalry archer. Now the stirrup upgrade, even though it says it technically applies to all cavalry units that the Bulgarians have, cavalry units, it does not actually apply to the cavalry archer. But does he care? Does he know? Does it factor into his decision making? Not too sure. Market goes up, market goes down. Knight is now in here, but with 21 HP, these villagers themselves can turn around and fight. But no, they go into the town center, which means the knight should die very, very quickly. As more cavalry stream forth, and now Mr. Yo's pivoting to the bottom of the map, brings himself a hungry lion for the ride. But look at that beautiful vision out of Sebastian. I don't know if he saw the villagers, but he definitely sees that there's now a push going this way. Okay, he definitely saw something because he's bringing his monk force. How's their faith? Fully faithed monks, adding 2 more to the roster, adding 10 total Kamayuks. And they now, with the Cav archers attacking them, discover that there are Cav archers here. Scout units go after the monks. The monks all die, which is a fantastic trade here for Mr. Yo. In exchange for just a bit of food, gets 300 gold. And we're going up to 14 Kamayuks. What an absolute crazy boss unit. They're so much fun to watch. I wonder, imagine the Incas having an upgrade like Anarchy or Marauders where they can train Kamayuks out of their barracks. I mean, there wouldn't be a single cavalry civilization, elephant civilization that could hold a candle to to that kind of power. Looks like Mysterio's adding a 4th town center near a patch of gold. Oh, but when you cannot stop that way against the Kameyuks in a bit of a narrow choke point with a siege ram, battering ram rather, blocking your way. Sebastian is contesting this with the villagers, Kameyuks. I mean, technically, remember, the Kameyuks are like the Steppe Lancers. They can reach through these walls. They have one range. Oh, get the hell out of the way, villagers. Get the hell out of the way. Why is one villager was attacking instead of letting the Kameyuks do their job? A couple of Kameyuks try to take on Cav Archers and a Krepos. They F around. They find out immediately. And now they are not enough to lame the villager. And so the Krepos does go up. But 2 battering rams here, Kameyuks. The unfortunate thing about having melee units with range is that you can't really right-click on a Krepost or a castle, for example, because even without murder holes, with that one range, they stay outside of it. So you have to micro them right into here and then right-click on the Krepost, which is a little bit annoying. But I guess you can also shove them into the battering rams, which against a couple of Cav Archers is not going to worry too much. Another attempt to convert light cav. Will he get it? Will he get it? No, he loses 1 monk. He loses another monk. Sebastian is losing a lot of gold intensive monks here. And Mysterio is happy to throw it away. And another castle going up right next to another Krepost. Is he not confident in his ability to get this Krepost down? Do I spy with my little eye a conic? A flail-wielding conic that has now become a flail-wielding infantry conic, otherwise known as a dismounted conic? I think I do. Unfortunately, all of that action was happening behind the Krepos, so all we got to see were the outlines. There it is. There it is. And look at what I'm talking about. Look at the attack speed, 2.4 seconds. Your average knight, your average paladin, your average heavy other cavalry unit, usually 1.8, 1.9. The conic, 2.4. So if Mysterio wants to double down on conics, that's why you need to get the stirrups upgrade. It's definitely, it's not should you get it, it's you absolutely have to get it. Otherwise your conics are just going to be completely dead in the water. As powerful as they are with the base attack of a 12 for the base model, as cool as they are being dismounted and getting a 2-fer unit, that attack speed is not something you want to get stuck with. Although it, for now, looks like our Bulgarian is going cavalry archers. The cavalry archers, on the whole, are not terrible. I believe they're just missing, yeah, they're missing the last armor upgrade. But I believe that is all they're missing. They do get all the other upgrades available. And let's see what's going on, as it is now finally 30 minutes in that our Bulgarian says enough is enough. No more Kreposts. I am going to add a castle to the front. Looks like the battering ram is taking down infrastructure. Some ancient ruins from the Bulgarians' long ago civilization, like when you travel, I guess, to Rome, and there's just so many cool ruins and old buildings in the old city. That's exactly what that looks like to me. Kameyuks, if they can close on these Cav Archers, are going to slaughter them, but the question is, can they close on the Cav Archer? What's the armor on these Kameyuks right now? Only 1 pierce armor. That is not great against an 8 attack. Their HP is not exactly the highest. It's not terrible, but it's not the highest. And unlike his monks, it looks like Sebastian does save one of the 2 scorpions, although I don't think Mysterio was going after that one scorpion. The one he went after did die. Tinkle, tinkle go the Kameyuks, and down goes the dismounted conics, and no more conics. Imperial Age for both players. It looks like they're going to reach it literal seconds apart. Mr. Yo is ahead about 11 villagers. No big surprise there. He has killed 25 more villagers than Sebastian. And Sebastian, kudos to him for staying on 3 town centers, trying to go up to a 4th. He's almost at triple-digit villager count. And now Mr. Yo is getting chased away. Town center does manage to clip one of the Cav Archers, so it goes up. It gets a kill immediately. And we are going melee upgrades for our Bulgarian, who has re-added a conic. Okay. Where do we think the next Krepost is going to go, and where do we think the next castle to counter that Krepost will go? Because so far it's just been hilarious. Krepost castle, Krepost castle, Krepost castle. Krepost castle. I sound like Rain Man. Definitely a Krepos. Definitely a Krepos. 4 Krepos. Definitely a castle. Definitely a castle. A lot of queens. Anyway, Eagle Warrior transition for our Inca. Why the hell not? Fully upgraded with fabric shields. Their version of Viagra. They come with 10 pierce armor. So will Mysterio upgrade his Cav Archers to heavies? It kind of looks like he's doubling down, right? Chemistry, Bracer, Thumb Ring. It definitely looks like he's doubling down on Cav Archers. But against the Incans, as more particularly against the Incan Eagle, and against the no minimum range skirmisher, we'll see. There it is. There's the heavy cavalry archer upgrade. Plate barding armor for what? Your 1 conic and your not quite yet born light cavalry unit. And finally, at the 35-minute mark of the game, it is our Inca finally, like I said, flexing his jingoistic muscle, who is pushing out of his base. He is basically caught up in villager count. 3 difference in villager count. Army counts are identical. But Mysterio doesn't realize that he is about to face Eagles. How many barracks has he seen? He hasn't seen any of these barracks. Ouch. So as good as his scouting was initially, it has fallen a little bit short. Looks like a Treb did manage to ball down one of these heavy Cav Archers. What a sour way to die. Baobab Tree gets knocked down as well. 2-1. Treb War. 1 player does have some villagers repairing. It looks like the Conics did try to get that ram. They got that ram, but both Conics did pay the price. Actually, maybe not both, because this one, I guess, went up north to join the Cav Archers. And here come the Eagles in 35 seconds. They are going to be elite. Even without fabric shields, they still have 8 pierce armor against the 11 attack. 3 damage only. And with fabric shields, 1 HP of damage. Now the Cav Archers, of course, can kite all the live long day. Move, attack, run away, attack. But that is incredibly micro intensive. That is very taxing on the players, especially when Sebastian could potentially open up multiple fronts. Although, speaking of multiple fronts, ain't none finer than Mr. Yo and his Hydra style attacks, where he just likes to surround and envelop. Some players just have a certain game style. Hera loves to raid with his Hussars. Mysterio loves in the mid to late game to just absolutely, aside from taking relics, which I guess he's not really doing too well this game, just running around in 5 different locations. That's why I call it the Hydra attack. Eagles, what are the upgrades? Okay, no attack upgrades whatsoever. 35 seconds away from forging. Where is fabric shields? It's an expensive upgrade. 600 gold for that upgrade. And Mysterio, he's in the back to the left. He's in the back to the bottom. Let's see what's going on with these 2 attacks, because it looks kind of, actually, never mind. Let's see what's going on in the full frontal here. We'll keep an eye on that rear end with some picture-in-picture. Hussars, 2 Trebs down. And as cool as the Eagles are, they're going to have some trouble catching up to these Hussars when the Hussars want to deke them. But when they take a fight, the Eagles slaughters. +4, +5 bonus against cavalry, +4. Tell me the Bulgarian Hussar has stirrups. Yeah, they do. You see how the Conic went from 2.4 second delay to 1.8? Look at a Hussar attack speed. 1.42 seconds. Actually, a little bit quicker than a Mangadai. Absolutely bonkers. Let's check out what's going on back here. Cav Archers, 33 kills. 22 of that is villagers. Looks like the Hussar raid has been stopped. Of course it has been. There's a castle that has 7 kills. Town center that has 3. Kameyuks, which completely disappeared off the radar for a second, apparently are here on the right side of the world. And Mysterio's adding more and more stables. He's going to pump out these Mangadai Hussars that are just ridiculous. 95 HP, attack speed, lightning fast. Now the Kameyuks are engaging here, but there is a Krepos. The Krepos full of villagers. Ooh, will Sebastian notice the relic taking? He does not. So Mysterio back up to 1 relic. Gonna get 2 relics. 3rd contested relic. We'll see who takes that. And an absolute slaughter of Eagles here. Really? Oh yeah, look at the army count. Oh, no fabric shields. He was almost there. I think he's got the food count for fabric shields. I don't think he's got the gold count. Although remember, we're in Imperial Age, so the Incan military industrial complex, all of their units cost 25% less food, which, to be fair, for an Eagle is a little bit of an underwhelming discount because they still cost the 50 gold and 25 food. So 25% of 25 is a good discount. It's not a great discount. It's not like the Gothic discount. It's not like the Byzantine discount. But let's see what's going on around the map, because Sebastian did finally catch up kind of in villager count. He's down 65 total population, though. No army whatsoever. Pair of Eagles to the back. Looks like they've gotten 2 villager kills. It looks like the Krepost has managed to kill 6 units. I'm assuming those were all the Kameyuks, because I don't see a single Kameyuk in the roster for our Inca. And now you've got raids to the bottom right. You've got a raid to the top left, which, by the way, is going to clear up these Eagles as slowly as it will clear up those Eagles. And then even if, let's say, 4 or 5 more of these Cav Archers die while it does so, it still leaves about 20 Cav Archers to just absolutely wreck that economy to the rear. And this is a map like we saw earlier where expanding to the rear is a must. If you don't expand to the rear, you will run out of wood, or at the very least take very risky wood and very risky resources here. I love that Sebastian went up to 4 castles, literally contesting every Krepost. So on the whole, Mr. Yo did win in that regard, 350 stone to whatever 85% of 650 stone is. Because remember, Incan castles are not 650 stone. All of their structures cost 15% less stone. And so whatever 85%, 65, let's say 550 approximately. What 65 is 10%, and then half of 65 is 3250. So 9750, yeah, about 100 saved stone. So he saved 400 stone here for building these castles, but ultimately could not compete with the Hydra attack of Mr. Yo. Cavalry archers here getting little to no damage on the other side of the map. And look at the villager kill counts, 85 to 26, almost 100 more kills for our Bulgarian. And all of a sudden, a GG I thought perhaps was a little bit questionable becomes a little bit less questionable as the picture becomes clear. Eagles, surprised that it's Eagles and not Kameyuks. It was a late transition there. By the way, with those Hussars, he must have seen all the barracks. Yeah, he's seen the barracks. And still going Cav Archer. That is a ballsy play. So Eagle Warriors to Cav Archers. One-on-one, the Eagles should slaughter this. I mean, again, the heavy Cav Archers attack on an 11, and the Eagle without fabric shields does have only 8. I mean, only 8. Only 8 HP. Oh my god, Pierce Armor. Kameyuks. For our Inca, the Kameyuks have been the MVP this game. Unfortunately, I don't think you can have an MVP when you're on the losing team. So we'll go with the Cav Archer being the MVP for on the whole. 33 minutes in for peak APM, 25 minutes in. Both players a bit of a relaxed APM, 14 monks as well. We'll see the conversion count. The economies I can't see being too, I was going to say too dissimilar. The villager lead was there for our Bulgarian, but it wasn't like 30, 40 villagers. But he does manage to get about a 15% bigger economy. I don't know, I'm making so many mistakes in mathematics all of a sudden. I should probably get more sleep. 1,000 more wood, 6,000 more food. There's your, well, there's your Hussars transition. Our Inca has more gold and our Bulgarian more stone relic gold, about 1,000 apart, not really that big. 10 conversions out of 183 is a solid almost 5%. Or maybe a little bit, over 5%. Again, I don't know what's going on with my mathematics today. Yeah, 9 would be 5%. So 10 is a little bit over 5%, 5.5%. Raisings 19 to 14, very, very similar. And we're aware that our Bulgarian gets stirrups at the 38-minute mark. So not too long ago, right before the transition to Hussars, and he's also got conscription. So he actually got stirrups after the Elite Eagle Warrior upgrade. Interesting. I don't think he saw the Eagles before they were elite. I don't think he saw these barracks until very recently, but ultimately, what a fun game on a fun map. Like I said, usually when I watch a map or look at a map, cast a map, whatever, that has any kind of little ring of water, you do expect demo ships. But in this game, they went full on land, and what a lush map lends itself to big battles. But if you can't expand to the rear, if you're getting sniped, if you've lost 3.5 times more villagers than your opponent, there's just no hope left on the map, no matter how many resources there are here in the forward position. And these Hussars are going to be glad to trade their lives out. I mean, by the time they close in on this, and by the time this one castle kills, let's say 2 or 3 of them, there's definitely going to be a lot of dead villagers here for our Inca. I think our Inca realized he is literally in the Bermuda Triangle of Death. 1 corner, 2nd corner, 3rd corner. So if Age of Empires had a mechanic where I could do a Pythagorean kind of diagonal line from the top left to the bottom right, this would be the absolute Bermuda Triangle of Death here. And even though Sebastian did try to wall off using the baobab trees, I don't think it's very possible. This is open. This is still closed, but it actually might be open here. Looks kind of like it is open now. Yeah, you just can't secure it. It's very, I shouldn't say you can't. It's very hard to secure the center on this map. And I'm glad that we got to see all land, but a little bit of regret that we didn't get to see even just basic demos, which I think I did once see on this map. There's space where you can put a dock. And so ultimately in this game, no water play at all. And it was all land. And on land, it is Mr. Yo with the 85 villager kills, the surround to the left, the surround to the right, this attack to the center, and the Bulgarian Krepost push, which, to be fair, like I said, hilariously met at every step. Every tit came with a tat. Unfortunately, the tats were not enough, and Mr. Yo's tits, I'm going to get in trouble for that, were victorious. But GG, truly, to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.